Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kennedy and I make videos about grad school and things that grad students go through, particularly me. And so today I thought I would share with you some tips on how to budget your money in graduate school. Now, grad students do not make a lot of money. You might have a part-time job, or you might work as a teaching assistant. I'm working as a research assistant and doing research that complements my dissertation work. And so that's my funding mechanism. And so I'm going to share with you about 8 tips on how I budget my money and things that have worked for me on how to save and utilize my money most effectively and efficiently. So my first tip is to make a budget. It still surprises me that in 2020 there are adults in this world that don't have a budget for how they spend their money, but apparently it's a thing. So the first tip, make a budget. There are a lot of resources on the internet that will offer you different ways that you can most efficiently spend your money. Find one that works best for you and your lifestyle and your current situation. I know I started as soon as I graduated from college. I found one that worked for me, and since then it's been adapted a little bit, but I always keep a budget no matter what, and that has saved me a lot of time and heartache and bank overdraft fees. My second tip is to have an emergency savings account that has at least $1,000 in it. There are always unexpected emergencies that might come up. They might be health related, they might be car related, and you need to be able to handle those. I mean, it'd be great if we all had parents who would fix things for us when they went wrong in our lives, but at this point we're adults and not all of us have that luxury. And so be your own safety net and have a safety net. And so having at least $1,000 in savings means that you can pretty much handle at least a little bit any expense that comes your way unexpectedly, because that's what an emergency savings account is for. My third tip is to eliminate useless, and maybe I'm harsh when I say useless, but stop going to Starbucks. If you really love coffee and you have to have coffee every day, because I found that a lot of my peers love coffee and have to drink coffee. I personally am not a coffee drinker. I love tea, and I will not go to a coffee shop or a tea shop and pay $2 for a cup of tea when a box of tea also costs $2. So my friends will go to a coffee shop and buy a coffee that costs $2 to $3 to upwards of $6, depending on how fancy they want to be that day, and do that every day for a long time. And that is just a waste of money. Don't do that. A better habit is to, if you really love Starbucks coffee, buy a bag of Starbucks coffee, buy a coffee maker, make your coffee at home. There's ways to be cute and jazz it up if you want to buy a Starbucks coffee mug because you're so proud of yourself for having not bought coffee in a week that, oh, look, I've saved $30. I can buy myself a coffee mug. And now you have a cute little mug to bring your coffee around in. And $30 a week is really what some people spend in going to Starbucks every single day of the week. So eliminating those expenses will save you so much money. My fourth tip is don't spend half your paycheck on rent. So rent can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. Personally, I go to grad school in the city that I was born and raised in, and so I have been living with my parents since I've started in this program, and that has saved me a lot of money. Now, I don't live here rent free. I still pay my parents to contribute to my utilization of their resources because, well, they told me that's character building. But in actuality, it really is. And so I pay my parents about $400 to live in their house and utilize all of their resources. And that doesn't nearly cover the amount that it costs to have me in this house, but it does allow me to save. And so if you are considering going to graduate school, maybe consider going to a school that is close to home and close to someone else you could live with, that you could probably pay a lower rate than if you would if you had to go out and find an apartment or somewhere else to live. So that's one tip for me. So that's just how I do it. But a lot of my peers in the program, some of them live by themselves, and it'll cost about $1,000 to live by yourself in this city, which is a lot especially when grad students only take home about $2,000 a month. And so eating up half your budget on rent is not fiscally responsible. Try to lower that. So you could get a roommate. And there's 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartments that are separate enough, far apart enough where it doesn't even feel like you have a roommate sometimes. And find some way where you can save money. My 5th tip is to meal prep. So plan out your meals and learn how to cook. You can save so much money by meal prepping. I decided to not meal prep for like 1 week, and in that week I spent $200 on food. So on a normal week I spend about $50 on groceries. And if I spend 4 times that by not planning and eating out, that's just eating and eating at my budget, and that's just not good. So learn how to cook. Plan out your meals. I go grocery shopping every Sunday. Not right now, but I usually go grocery shopping every Sunday, and I buy the food that I need to eat for that week, and I cook it on that Sunday, and I make my food for the week, and I'll either put it in the individual lunch containers if that's what's going to be lunch, or I'll put it in a big container if that's going to be dinner. And my $50 a week that I spend on lunch is sufficient for me. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat that much. It's mostly all vegetables and like bread and tortillas. And so meal prepping has been a big money saver for me. My 6th tip is still related to like the 5th tip, and it's stop eating out. Or at least if you're gonna eat out, be smart about it. So I plan to eat out. I know what day of the week I'm gonna eat out. So in my department, we go to happy hour on the first Thursday of every month. I plan for first Thursdays, so I won't make a meal for that day because I know I'm gonna be eating out, and I just budget accordingly. And happy hours are an amazing thing. It has cheap alcohol and cheap food. So if you get something off the happy hour menu, and if you get a drink off the happy hour menu, you can leave there with a tab of less than $20. And that's ideal, and that's where you want to be, because we don't really have a whole lot of money to just be spending on bars. Like you don't need to spend $50 at a happy hour unless you want to, unless you're really celebrating. Don't buy all your friends drinks either. They have their own money. Also, kind of related to that last tip, is if there's events on your school's campus that you would be an appropriate guest for, and they have food, go to those events and get the free food. And that might sound really shady to you, but if there's something that I know I'm supposed to be at and I know they're going to have food, I'm gonna go to it and I'm going to eat there, and that's just one less meal I have to cook. Maybe some people look down upon that. Graduate schools know their students don't make a lot of money, and so sometimes they incentivize events by saying there will be food so that students will come and we eat. And if you stay long enough, you might be able to take the leftovers. And so my 7th tip is relating to transportation and how you get around. Like I said, rent's a big expense, but also a big expense might be transportation from home to work or home to school or to the grocery store or anywhere, how you get around in your city. What would be ideal, and I know this works for some of my friends, is they don't even have a car, and if they live close enough to the school, they can utilize the bus system, or they can walk to campus, or they will bike to campus. They'll figure out something that works for them as long as you live close enough. Because something that also comes with cars is having to pay for parking passes, and having to pay for gas, and having to pay for insurance, and having to pay for something when something goes wrong, because something always goes wrong. Well, I said something a lot. So if there's another way you can get around, then do that. I personally can't take advantage of this tip because I, like I said, live with my parents. That is nowhere near my university, and so I have to drive. But the money that I save in rent, I spend in gas. I also got a car that's really fuel efficient, so I spend $20 a week on gas, even though I drive like 50 miles a day. So try to live near the campus if you can, and utilize free or almost free transportation methods. My 8th and last tip is maybe get a side hustle. If you've tried all of the things that I've done so far and you still can't make ends meet, it might be time to pick up a side hustle. And I know some grad schools don't want their students to have outside jobs. You might also get penalized for having another job that wasn't authorized by your department or your program. But there are still ways around that, and I hope I'm not outing myself. So my personal side hustle is tutoring. So I tutor 1 or 2, max 3 high school students that live in the area, and I tutor them in STEM. So either math or science or something related to that. And that adds an additional $100 to $200 a week. So that's just something that's really worked for me and increasing the amount of money that I bring home and that I can save while in grad school. So that was my last tip, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please like this video down below, and also subscribe to my channel so you can get more content like this. If you have an idea for a video you want to see, please leave a comment down below, and I'll try to make sure that I get that done for you. That's all for now. Bye.